Israel has suffered a surge in terror attacks this year. In one wave, Palestinian terrorists killed 11 Israelis over a period of several days. During those attacks, one policeman gave his life to protect the residents of a Jewish town. That policeman was an Arab who's now become a national hero. Chris Mitchell reports.
They called him the hero of Israel. 32-year-old Sergeant Amir Khoury died last March when he confronted a terrorist in the predominantly ultra-Orthodox town of Bnei Brak.
He was a hero. He was a warrior, you know. He was a first responder, but the best we have.
His commander, Lieutenant Colonel Danny Haddad, explained how Khoury confronted the terrorist who was in the middle of a deadly shooting spree.
He almost shoot other people, but when he saw the police officer, when he saw Amir, he turned around and shoot Amir. This is why other people saved. In the moment that happened, his friend that were with him killed the terrorist, and this is how he saved lives. Otherwise, if they were getting late a few minutes more, the other people that were being killed. So this is how he saved life.
This week in a ceremony, the Christian Friends of Magen David Adom donated a motorcycle in Khoury's memory. This motorcycle is a way to remember the life and legacy of Amir Khoury, found in the words of Jesus, who said, "Greater love hath no man than he lay down his life for his friends."
Through his giving his life for Orthodox Jewish people, the entire nation wept for him. Christian Friends of Magen David Adom is here to build bridges between Christians and Jews. And a lot of it is to educate and to show that we are God's children, all of us. And I felt that it was an honor for me to be able to meet this family and for us to donate a motorcycle to another first responder.
Thousands of Israelis came to Khoury's funeral, including many ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Amir died giving his life to protect Orthodox Jews in a very contested area in Bnei Brak in Israel. He actually brought these Orthodox Jews, who may be very suspicious of Christians, to understand that there is love for the Orthodox Jew.
Jerusalem Post commentator Gil Troy says the decision this Christian Arab policeman made, the location, and his subsequent death embodies the spirit of Israel.
The terrorist was in a neighborhood of ultra-Orthodox Jews. And in the stereotypical Israel, you can't think of a greater gap between Israeli Arabs and ultra-Orthodox Jews. His funeral was mobbed by ultra-Orthodox Jews who came to show respect. Some of them lived in the neighborhood and some of them didn't. And it was a moment in Israeli history where people saw that we're one, and we don't define one another by our parents and grandparents and ancestors and ethnic groups. We define each other by our souls and by our common citizenship.
Troy says it's a side of the country often not seen or reported.
It shows what I call my sweet Israel. It shows the Israel of the soul. It shows the Israel that never makes the front pages of the New York Times and doesn't have the lead stories in CNN, but is the Israel that any tourist comes and sees. Our evangelical Christian friends who come see it and sing it with it and dance with it. And it's so important that we go beyond the headlines, that we go beyond the dualities, and we go beyond the gaps, and we work together as one and understand this is a 75-year-old miracle in the making, and it's a miracle that's about a Jewish state, a democratic Jewish state, which has room in its heart for Arabs, for Christians, for all kinds of people, because we are one.
For the family, the anguish of losing their brother, son, and fiancé still leaves a void in their hearts.
It's very hard what's happened with me, with my family, because my brother is dead, and what's happened with my sisters, with me, with the life with my family.
First off, I want to say that Amir is an example to us all. He really did unite people. And even with all the pain and hardship that is with us every day, we don't forget this unity.
His death left Amir's fiancée, Shani Shahar, with a broken heart.
Wow, so much, so much. My life, it's broken. Amir is my life.
Yet his legacy within Israel will live on.
They saw him as a hero. Everyone in Israel knows who is Amir Khoury. They know this name because they know what he done. All the people in Bnei Brak and all the area are very grateful to him. All the police officer, the other police officer, want to be the example of Amir Khoury, want to be like him. We want to be, be like Mike, be like Amir.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Magen David Adom headquarters, Ramleh, Israel.
There is no greater love than you would lay down your life for your friends, and that's what Amir did. And he considered all Israelis to be his friend. This is not a story you're going to hear coming out of the UN. It's not a story you're going to hear coming out of the boycott, divestment, sanction movement. But it's a story we want to bring you to show you what it's really like on the ground in Israel. And it's an untold story. The only nation in the entire Middle East where the Christian population is thriving and growing, and that is in the nation of Israel. When you just look across the line to the Palestinian Authority, look at the city of Bethlehem. When I visited Bethlehem back in the 1960s, the 1970s, 80% of the city's population were Christian Arabs who could trace their Christianity all the way back to the 2nd century. But today, that Christian population has been expelled by the terrorists. The Palestinians don't want the Christians there in Bethlehem. And so the numbers have flipped. And what used to be an 80% Christian city is now a 20% Christian city. And those Christians are just holding on because they believe in protecting the birthplace of Jesus. You look at other Christian towns in Israel, in the West Bank, Nazareth is in danger of losing its Christian majority. And it's all because of persecution coming from the Palestinian terrorists. It's not just directed at Jewish Israelis, it's directed at the Christians as well. And when you see a Christian saying, no more terrorism, we don't want this, I'm willing to lay down my life for the principle of Israeli government, that this is a democracy, that there's freedom of religion there. We can thrive under Israeli rule. We can't thrive under Palestinian rule. That is a story that needs to be told and told again and again until people finally understand the narrative of what's really happening on the ground in the West Bank.